So after a great result for Canada this evening and overall in the tournament so far, it's been a very, very positive group stage. Sadly, our coverage does end at this point as well, and looking back, it has certainly been a wonderful trip for us. Comprehensive is probably a good word to use for it, and one that's been used very often on the forums. Max, when you look back at this, what do you see?
Well, I think this has been a unique program for the Voyageurs to have actual media staff on site for a tournament like this. Obviously, the feedback's been terrific, and we'd like to thank everybody for the feedback. Obviously, we've been learning and growing a lot along the way as media students and trying to develop this project to help the entire Canadian soccer community. And I think just being around the players has given us a kind of fresh insight into how this team actually operates, into some of the changes the CSA are trying to initiate, and actually the way that CONCACAF functions in terms of their media operations, which you and I have discussed tonight aren't always the most ideal. But I think this has brought what Canadian supporters need. It brings in-depth coverage from people who know the topic, who are in love with the topic and really are supportive of Canadian soccer in general and know how to ask the right questions and be informed about the issues. So I guess one of the things looking forward is we just need to address how to keep this going.
Yeah. Coming from England myself, the coverage of England games is very different, and especially in Europe, you get the most comprehensive of all coverage for most teams that are followed in such a mass of fans. And it was certainly an eye-opener to see the way that Canadian fans get treated by the press and the amount of people that turn up to a press conference afterwards to see Stephen Hart pour his heart out, if you like. How do you see this project moving forward in terms of what we can do in the future and how we can expand it?
Well, I think one of the big obstacles is obviously financing the project. Obviously, you and I have taken this upon ourselves in kind of a resume-building exercise for us to get some first-hand experience, and it's been great for us, and it's been a pleasure for us to be a part of it. But if CanadianSoccer.com and the Voyageurs and whoever we decide to work with keep this going, it's going to be a matter of outsourcing the project to a corporate entity that's going to have enough funding to do this on a consistent basis. I think now we've already surpassed 3,000 video views this week. We're demonstrating even without advertising there's a bit of a niche market for this, and obviously with the web video niche market emerging on its own terms, this is perhaps somewhere Canadian soccer can finally find its place in terms of broadcasting in the new media sense of the word. So working with entities like the CBC, Canadian Press, and a lot of other contacts we've developed over the course of this project, we'll be happy to share those with the Voyageurs who may become a part of this project in the future. But obviously financing is the main issue, and that's the reason our coverage is ending here right now. Just not enough money in the budget, really. But I think the important things are to find a consistent formula that works for this. You and I have been experimenting with different things, and we'd love to speak to the Voyageurs about it and see how we can improve it. But of course, it's about finding a consistent formula, working with consistent graphics and artwork and just templates that are going to be transferable to different Voyageurs working within the project. And I think you always want to work with Voyageurs who have media experience, who are maybe studying media, have worked in the media previously, just to make sure we're always putting out a quality product so that if we do decide to work in a corporate setting, it's always going to be presentable in that sense.
Yeah, and indeed with the Canadian team, we want this project to grow. If you do want to get in contact or you want to be involved in it, then Max, what's the email?
My email, as always, max.bell@ymail.com. Of course, the forums are always a great place to discuss this, and I hope when I get back to Winnipeg and get back to Canada, we'll have a chance to meet in person. I'll be in Toronto in September, so if there's anybody that wants to discuss growing the project in Winnipeg, Toronto, I'll be back in Europe later on in September. We'll look forward to doing so. Obviously, there's not too much on the horizon for Canada after this tournament, so it'll give us some time to formulate our thoughts, but certainly something to be discussed. And once again, we'd just like to thank everybody involved. Richard Scott at the CSA, a massive help. The Canadian team for reaching out to us. Julian de Guzman especially, interviewing with us basically every time. They've been so supportive, and it just shows that the people on the front lines of Canadian soccer genuinely have their heart in the right place. It's a growing system. We're all going to need to work together to develop it, but such a pleasure to be a part of it.
Yeah. From two guys who are very far away from home right now, good night and good luck.